All right, guys. NFL draft is tomorrow night. I want to quickly drop in my proposed mock draft. This is what I expect to happen. Not so much what I would do, but what I think they're going to do. Just gonna jump right into this right now. Easy money. I know normally we're sitting here with Ted and some special guests, but today it's just me. You may see a draft coming up from Ben Bishop. He might do it. I'm gonna use Pro Football Focus's draft simulator. I normally like the way they allow you to trade, but with the first pick in the draft, there's absolutely no way Jacksonville is going to be trading. They're going to draft Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson. Now the Jets, they're in the same boat. The Jets just traded away their quarterback. I believe they're going to go ahead and they're going to draft Zach Wilson, BYU. Now, there's been some discussion back and forth about what's going to happen next. But look, I'm an SEC fan, but by no means would I scroll all the way down here past Trey Lance, all these great players to draft the 14th rated player on the board. His scores are 14.1. I wouldn't draft him, but just never forget, Aaron Rodgers slipped in 19 or 18, slipped into the teens. Of course, the great one, who I can't stand. No offense, Tom Brady. I hear great things about you as a person. You're just a Cowboys fan and hate how much success you've had. Pure jealousy right here. They're going to draft Mac Jones. This is the pick which could change everything. Is this going to be a Penei Sewell? Are they going to add depth to protect that one last run to protect the quarterback? Are they going to go Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida? Do they go Ja'Marr Chase, maybe the best wide receiver on the board, maybe the best pass catcher on the board? This is going to be the draft pick that truly changes the draft. For me, I think they go ahead and they pick Devontae Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama. He's the highest rated player on my board when it comes to offensive players, non-quarterbacks. To me, he's the guy. Now, I would preface that to say, I think that the safest pick in this draft is Penei Sewell, wide receiver and tackle out of Oregon. I think he is by far the best guaranteed walk-in day one starter. The Bengals, they're going to draft Ja'Marr Chase, LSU, teaming back up with that quarterback they drafted last year. They threw like something stupid. If you look up the numbers, it was ridiculous the number of passing yards they had. I just went blank, or I would have told you. So Ja'Marr Chase goes number 5. The Miami Dolphins come on the clock. I think this is a chance where you see Penei Sewell go. But I've also heard rumor that they are looking at Rashard Slater. And that's actually who I have them drafting. If you saw Slater, tackle Northwestern. He is by far the best overall tackle in this draft. And that should solidify, or at least solidify 5, 8, 10-year starter for the Dolphins. The Lions come on the clock. I'm not going to go with this trade. I'm not going to propose trade in my draft. But if the Patriots are going to move up to get a quarterback, I think this is where they do it. And I think this is where you're going to see Justin Fields come off the board, right here at number 8, Carolina. So I'm not doing trades in my draft. I believe this is where either you're going to see, if there's not a trade, I think this is where you can see Kyle Pitts come off the board or Jalen Waddle. For me, I've already said like 13 times, forgive me for saying in me a million times. I think this is where Kyle Pitts, tight end, Florida, best pass catcher in this draft. Don't worry about the tight end. He is a pure mismatch for any defense. I mean, every defense is going to hate this guy for the next 10 years. The Carolina Panthers. There's been a lot of talk about which quarterback is going to go off the board. Justin Fields, I think this is the last time you have to wait. I think this is where you get picked up if Carolina drafts. If the Patriots trade up, I think they're going to go Trey Lance. It's just a gut feeling. I don't know. So Justin Fields going to Carolina, quarterback, Ohio State, the Ohio State University. And then the Denver Broncos come up. And this is the reason why the Patriots had to trade up. They have to get in front of Denver. They do not. Trey Lance, new Denver quarterback. Welcome to quarterback U. Greatest quarterbacks to play the game, not named, well, half a dozen. But the Broncos, they are known for their great quarterback play. I don't understand why Pro Football Focus has tight end as the biggest need for the Dallas Cowboys. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Tight end is maybe a luxury, honestly. So this is where it gets crazy for the Cowboys. Penei Sewell, the number 4 overall player, is still on the board. They're not going to go wide receiver. Please do not go wide receiver, Jalen Waddle. I do not want Micah Parsons here. I think he's going to be a great linebacker, but he's not a good coverage linebacker. So the Cowboys do not need him. They have blitzing linebackers already. I do not want Christian Barmore. For me, I have Christian Barmore. He's a defensive tackle, but I kind of see him more as a late round 1, early round 2 kind of guy. At this moment, I think you have to go Patrick Surtain. Some people like J.C. Horn. There's nothing wrong with J.C. Horn. I like his attitude. I like his grit, his go, but he's not as polished as Surtain. I had the Cowboys teaming up with Surtain. They're going to put that duo of Alabama corners on left and right and solidify the back end of that defense. The Giants are going to steal the draft whenever it lets me. The Giants are going to steal the draft with Penei Sewell, and they're going to give that offensive line a huge boost. A huge boost. The Philadelphia Eagles are next on the clock. They need a wide receiver bad, and they're going to get lucky as sin, and they're going to steal Jalen Waddle, Alabama wide receiver, then some people's number 1 quarterback and 1 wide receiver on their board. He was projected as the number 1 wide receiver coming into college football this year before his injury. And Philadelphia straight gets a steal. Unbelievable steal right there for Philadelphia. Now, the Chargers are on the clock. This is where it gets interesting because you still have Micah Parsons, you got Christian Darrisaw. This is where it's gonna get sketchy. Which way do you go? Kind of alluded to it. Christian Darrisaw is my pick here. Christian Darrisaw. Pardon me, I think I already took him off the board. How funny is that? This is a lot of people are picking Christian Darrisaw to go here. And I don't know. I think it's a good idea. They need an offensive tackle. As you can see, he's the 15th rated player. I'm not sure they're going to do it. If this board falls this way, you're talking about turning down maybe the number 1 linebacker, a top defensive end. Again, I have Barmore going late. Even though his score is high, he's a defensive tackle. They're kind of plug and play. So I don't have him going that early. But I'm going to have Christian Darrisaw here, sealing up another big move on that offensive line. Huge move for the Chargers. Should secure that left tackle spot for years to come. And next, the Purple People Eaters. Again, they need a guard, they need a tackle, they need an edge rusher. What do we have? Linebacker, defensive end, and safety. Wide receiver, corner. This is just not following the way they need it to go. I think they're going to fall all the way down here and take Elijah Vernon Tucker, probably the best tackle left on the board, one of the few offensive linemen left with a first-round grade. The New York, and finally we come with the Patriots. Again, in my draft, I did not use trades. And if you look, there really isn't another quarterback for a long time. That's why I really believe they're going to jump into the top 10 to get a quarterback. But they had defensive needs issues. I think you're going to see J.C. Horn coming in right here at number 15. Go to the Patriots. It's going to be an outright steal if they get J.C. Horn. If you look at what he did against Auburn, he shut down an NFL wide receiver pretty much with ease. If he had not pulled out and left his team COVID outed the year, if he doesn't leave the team halfway through the year, South Carolina's a hard out, probably has an extra win or two. He's that kind of a shutdown corner. The Arizona Cardinals come up to bat, and I think this is where Christian Barmore is going to come off the board. What a steal for them. If you notice, I still have Micah Parsons sitting on my board. A lot of people have him going sooner than that. I just do not. The Raiders come up. Micah Parsons has some baggage. It's not up to me to talk about anybody, but you'll do some research. You'll notice why he's still there. And here, the Raiders, I had them taking Jeremiah Osakor. I can't say his name, guys. Koromoa. Jeremiah Osakoromoa, linebacker. Notre Dame. They're famous for linebackers. I think he's going to be a good one. He's a hybrid safety mix. He's going to jump right in there. He might go to safety. As you notice, they have back end needs. That's where I had him going right there. Could have gone cornerback right there or safety. Next, Miami Dolphins come on the clock here. And I think they're going to go Twitty Pay here. They're going to go with an edge rusher. Got to slide down some. I think they're going to go Twitty Pay right here, or they're going to go with Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley, if he does not have those two back surgeries, I think Caleb Farley is your first defensive back off the board. Just, you can't be early 20s and have back-to-back back surgeries. You just can't do it. It's just hard for a team to want to take a risk on you. And speaking of Caleb Farley, I think this is where he comes off the board for the Washington Redskins. Pardon me, the Washington Washingtons. Please forgive me. And next we have the Chicago Bears. The Bears. The Bears need a quarterback. They need help in a lot of positions. You see they need help at wide receiver, tackle, offensive lineman, cornerback. And I think this is where you're going to see someone finally take a big step up here and take Micah Parsons. And it might do well for him. Pick the best player at the board at this point. I don't blame him at all. Go get you somebody that's going to make a difference. The Indianapolis Colts, wide receiver, tackle, and edge rusher. I think this is where you're going to see Jalen Phillips, Miami, edge rusher. I know he's rated 27th overall, but he's the best edge rusher left in the first round grade. And that's why it comes off the board. Tennessee Titans are up next. They need a wide receiver or a tackle. And we're going to scroll down a long ways until we come across, oh my goodness. I'm going to go with Stanford's Walker Little. Now, a lot of people have them scrolling down farther until you find Travar Jennings, Oklahoma State University. It's just which one you want better. I like Walker Little. To me, he's a little bit more polished. I think he's going to be your pick right here. Up next, the New Jersey Nets. The New York Nets. I said that 3 times. The New York Jets. Sorry, man. I know who I'm talking about, even though it didn't come across that way. And I think they're going to go edge rusher as well. There's a lot of talent left on the board. This could be a place where the Jets go for overall talents that I need, because they could draft Trevon, I can't say his name, the safety out of TCU. He is by far the number 1 safety in the draft. Greg Newsome's a great cornerback. And Bateman is still right there, another wide receiver with a lot of skill. But I think the Jets are going to go with an edge rusher, Joe Tyrone, Washington. If I can just scroll down and find him. Joe Tyrone, Washington. It's a little bit far. Actually, this is a lot. I'm going to change my mind. The Jets are going to go cornerback right here. Forget my notes. Forget what I'd planned before. Greg Newsome goes off the board right here, 23 to the Jets. secures that side, takes care of that problem they have there, knocks it out. Now, of all the teams that can make a splash, I feel like we're in that area now. We're in that area where people are drafting just on talent, just on not so much on need, but best player available. And this is where I think the Steelers could get a steal. I think they're going to go right here and grab Trevon. They don't, if you look at their needs, it's not one of their major needs, but he is by far the best player on the board. The next offensive lineman is Trevon Jenkins, who could be a first round grade. I think he has the ability, but honestly, I really think they're either going to take Asante Samuels or they're going to go defense. They're going to go defense. It's Asante Samuels a cornerback, or they're going to go Trevon here. And they're going to make that defense what it was in the 90s and early 2000s. They're going to lock it back up for their defensive first monster. Up next is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They already had that amazing pick to start the draft to secure that offense. A lot of people have them going with Levi, have him going defensive tackle here. I'm not sure that's what they want to do. So me, you could go defensive end here. You could go offensive line, but to be real, when I look at offensive line again, Jenkins steps out, but I think they're going to go ahead and they're going to secure something for years to come. I think if the board is falling this way, they're going to either going to grab Bateman. There is no big tight end listed right now. So just throw that out. If Trevon was still on the board, it'd make a lot of sense. I think they're going to go Rashad Bateman, pair him up with Trevor Lawrence, and really create a great 1-2 punch going forward for years to come. There's other great players on there, but I think that's what they're going to do there to make that a really secure that strength. Now we're going to go find a Tulsa linebacker. Zach Collins is going to go to the Browns and really start to show out. Zach Collins is an underrated linebacker. He can cover, he can hit. If you've not seen tape on him, trust me, he's a monster. He's someone you're going to want to see. The Baltimore Ravens are next out, and I feel bad for this for Eli Moore and for Jason. What a Jason. Threw a Y in there, threw me off. That's not how I spell my name, but Jason stick together. But not in this instance. The Baltimore Ravens are going to step all the way down, and they're going to secure that offensive line. They're going to pass a couple good offensive linemen to get there. But it's hard to go wrong with offensive linemen out of Alabama. And Alex Leatherwood steps off the board right here in Baltimore and truly is going to make an impact on that team. Get some more protection, really solidify that offensive line. The New Orleans Saints are on the board. Boy, do they need a quarterback. I know you guys probably have faith in who they have, but you can't lose Drew Brees and not think, man, we need somebody. I think this is where Elijah Moore, Terrence Mitchell, one of them steps off the board. But I think this is where you're going to see Asante Samuels come off. He's going to secure that cornerback spot, lock him back up on defense. Green Bay Packers come on the clock now. I think they're going to go Elijah Moore. They're going to go wide receiver here. I think it's going to be Elijah Moore. I've seen where people are talking about him taking Gregory Rousseau or Tony out of Florida. Tony is a great wide receiver. I think you can't go wrong with any of the three of those. The SEC is just throwing so many quality athletes at you on all ends. Any one of these picks would be great. I just like Elijah Moore better. Personal preference. Buffalo Bills are on the clock. And this is where I think you're going to see. This is where you're going to see the Buffalo Bills are going to reach down and take Azizi. I can't say your name, man. Defensive end, edge rusher out of Georgia. I really should have spent one more time practicing names. Then they're going to pick Georgia. Buffalo likes bigger players. I just feel like they're going to look at him and they're going to pass over Jason Owuan here. No offense to him. I think that's just where it's going to go. And the 31st pick in the draft, Baltimore gets to go up on here again. And we've already got him. We've already took care of the offensive line. I think it's time to go edge rusher. And I think it's time for Jason to come off the board. With the last pick in the draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can simply go with whoever's the best player available. And in this case, I think they're going to find another weapon for Tom Brady. And Terrence Mitchell is going to come off the board right here. And it's just going to be, what do you do? How do you stop Tom Brady when he has all these weapons? He's just going to destroy you one more time. I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, but the guy's hard to argue with. So we look over the picks one more time just to sum it up. I got Jacksonville taking Trevor Lawrence. I think everyone does. Zach Wilson to the Jets. Mac Jones goes to the 49ers. Devontae Smith, Alabama going to Atlanta. Just another Alabama wide receiver on that team. Jamar Chase to the Bengals. Rashad Slater to the Dolphins. Kyle Pitts to Detroit. You have Matthew Stafford, another weapon. Justin Fields goes to Carolina. Trey Lance to the Broncos. Patrick Surtain Jr. to the Dallas Cowboys. Penei Sewell to the Giants. That hurts me just saying that. Jalen Waddle to the Philadelphia Eagles. Same thing. It's another burner. Christian Darrisaw to the Chargers. Elijah Vera Tucker, the tackle from USC, going to the Vikings. J.C. Horn to the Patriots. This hurts me because if he goes there, yes, I know they need a quarterback. Yeah, I know they need offense. But what a pick. What just another player to insert for Bill Belichick to use to just continue that reign. Christian Barmore, defensive tackle, going to the Cardinals. That offense is so good. If you can put a defense there too, that's going to be a scary team. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker Notre Dame. I don't care if that says C-. He has the attitude they like with the Raiders. He has the attitude they're going to need. If he goes there, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Kwity Paye, defensive end, a big-time edge rusher, probably the best edge in this draft, going to the Dolphins. I think they'd be excited to have it. I can't believe Caleb Farley is a D, according to this, for the Redskins, because to me, he's gonna shut down one side of that field. It's just all about that injury. We just don't know how it's gonna turn out. Micah Parsons going to the Bears. Does that not just feel right? Big time linebacker, attitude problem. I'm not saying it's a bad kind of attitude problem, just an attitude, strong, hard hitting linebacker. It's like he was made to go there. Jalen Phillips, edge rusher on the Colts. Man, I'm old enough to remember when you hated playing the Colts because you had Peyton Manning as a quarterback and that big time defense on the other side. Jalen Phillips might be what brings back that threat. Walker Little, tackle, going to the Titans. Man, their running game is stout without him. You add another great tackle to that offensive line, and they could be a scary, scary team. Heck, they're already a scary team. They did well in the playoffs this year. Greg Newsome, cornerback, Jets. I feel like they just have great corners at the Jets. They just stack them in. Safeties, Jets. They just always have talent right there. And then Trevor, I've got to learn how to say his name, guys. I'm sorry. He's a great safety, the best safety in this draft. And doesn't it just make sense that the Pittsburgh Steelers would sign another great defensive player to just further just frustrate you in that division? Too far, guys. Sorry. Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota, going to the Jaguars. Great 1-2 connection. I think that's going to be a great lock-in. Zach Collins, linebacker at Tulsa, going to the Browns. They have so much talent on that team. Can they just put it together? Alex Leatherwood, left tackle, Baltimore Ravens. I mean, that offense is so scary. Can you imagine if they can actually provide real time in the pocket? Asante Samuel Jr. I really feel like we're going to look back at this draft. He's going to be one of the best defensive players to come out of this draft. He has all the intangibles. And the Saints, what a class act organization. Elijah Moore, wide receiver, Ole Miss, going to Green Bay, another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't need much help. As a Cowboys fan, I truly dislike that man. So it does hurt my feelings, the idea of him getting another weapon. Azeez Ojulari, defensive end, Georgia, going to the Bills. I'm not sure he's a cold weather guy, but if you're in Buffalo, you're a cold weather guy. And he has the pedigree to really make a name for himself in Buffalo. Jason Owen, defensive end, Penn State, Baltimore Ravens, same story. This guy's going to be a beast for the Ravens. Terrence Marshall Jr. from Louisiana, slide right over to Florida. Same thing. Throw it up, go get it, touchdown style. And it's going to be a great. If that's who Tampa Bay gets, it may not be your first on the pick, it may not be who you want as a Tampa Bay guy, but I doubt you're going to be mad about it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the draft. We're going to have more coverage starting tomorrow. Look for me to drop my top 100 players before the draft. And hey, we're going to do this draft right. We may not come live for you, but look for our content after the fact. Look for our live picks as they happen. That's all I've got for you. Hey, I don't have that bzzz noise like Ted does. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Enjoy the draft.